Another WWE star wins a TNA title, plus new champions were crowned at Ring of Honor Final Battle, and John Cena's final opponent has been confirmed. It's all in the Cultaholic Wrestling news right now. Fraser Porter.
That's me.
So much wrestling happened last night.
It was a lot of wrestling. It was
so much wrestling.
When most folk go out on a Friday night, we were watching wrestling to get the news delivered Saturday morning. Friday night was chock full of it.
Matchsticks in eyes, absorbing all the wrestling at once on a whole bunch of monitors.
Yeah, it was like back in the days of Pokemon Go when you had all the phones on, just all the phones in front of you, ready to watch all the wrestling.
I feel so old the fact you said back in the day on Pokemon Go.
Back in the day. To be fair, it was 10 years ago.
Don't say
Almost. 2016.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Fast approaching.
And we are fast approaching John Cena's final match. We're going to get to that main story in a little bit. But let's start with last night's TNA Final Resolution. Another WWE star now holds a TNA title.
Yeah, we've seen this a few times already. This is not unexpected, I wouldn't say, when we started seeing the NXT invasion of TNA rather than the other way around. I kind of expected we'd see a couple of those titles change hands. Last night, Stax Lorenzo won the TNA International Championship, beating Steve Macklin. Now, there was a little bit of interference. There was a little bit of shenanigans. Lexus King, he got involved. He used that bloody cane of his, and it kind of helped seal the fate of Steve Macklin, who's no longer a champion in TNA.
His second reign ends after 54 days, I believe.
Yeah.
Makes Stax the latest NXT star to capture and / hold hostage an TNA title.
TNA title, yeah.
Trick Williams won the TNA World title. We saw JC Jane win the Knockouts World title.
Kalani Jordan
won the Knockouts World title. We've seen on the other way was the Hardys.
We saw the Hardys win the other title. So there has been back and forth, but there's definitely been more
back than forth.
They've gone. We'll give it to the guys that we used to have. The ones it's very well known for being WWE guys. It makes sense for Stax Lorenzo to win this one. Steve Macklin, I think if you have seen the amount of talent that have been leaving TNA recently, the amount that are going over to WWE or waiting and kicking about just to be like, hey, what's going on? We'll wait and see. It makes sense to put it on someone like Stax so Steve Macklin can move up the card a little bit back into that main event picture, because Steve Macklin's great.
He's ever so good. Now, the NXT Outsiders feud boiled over after the main event. It was JDC of the System challenging for the TNA World title from Frankie Kazarian. Post-match, the Invasion lot run in, the TNA lot run in. There's a big old brawl amongst it. Oh my days! Stax punches the dad of his fiancée, Santina Marella.
His soon-to-be father-in-law. He punches him right in the face or knocks, he gets a bit of shenanigans with him. It's going to be a really awkward Christmas.
Very awkward Christmas.
Around the Christmas table.
Oh, my days. I'd like to point out, I, for one, would never punch John Hammond because he'd punch me back twice as hard.
For the record, that's his father-in-law. It could be anyone.
Going to leave that floating in the air. The man from Jurassic Park.
Exactly. I wouldn't punch that man either.
I he's got dinosaurs.
Wouldn't punch John Hammond. Either of them.
Nah, they're all good eggs. This continues the story with the NXT and TNA rivalry. But amongst all of that, away from all of that, there was some debutants last night on TNA.
So there was, again, not unexpected. We've heard these rumors that TNA was looking to bring certain talents in, particularly one name that we're going to jump onto first, Bear Bronson, former AEW star Bear Bronson. He made his debut alongside CW and Brock Anderson, facing the System, unfortunately, in a losing effort. But Bear Bronson is now with the company. Long time coming, considering he kind of just disappeared from AEW because of things out of his control. Yes,
we all heard the story about how Bear Country came to disappear. One half of Bear Country now gone from the wrestling industry, but left Bear Bronson in a situation where he had to lace up his boots and go and just tear up the indie circuit, which he absolutely did. So I'm delighted to see somebody who had a really bad situation that it was out of his control. He took hold of it. He hit the indies. He smashed it. And now here he is reaping the benefits on a main stage like that. And he's just a lovely guy as well.
Yeah, he seems
big
to
love.
be.
Yeah, big love to Bear Bronson. We stand Bear Bronson here at Cultaholic Wrestling.
And this was something, as I said, not unexpected. Fightful Select had previously reported that Bear Bronson was expected to join TNA, sign with the company. So it looks like they've done that. That deal is either been made or is in the process of being made, despite the appearance. excited to see what he does there. I hope, again, with maybe a reshuffle of talent and where they are going or what their placement on the card, I hope he gets used quite well because he's really good.
Yeah.
And he's beefy.
He's a big, meaty boy.
He's a beefy boy.
Also last night, they're here. They've made it.
They are here, but it's not immortal. They're here. It's not.
It's a good one. Spelled properly this time.
Yeah, the spelled properly. Oh my god, I forget. It's one of my favorite things from that moment. They try to be really cool and it's spelt wrong.
I know. They're wrong there,
and Jeff
lads.
Jarrett, your mate, is pointing at it, like, yeah, look at it. It doesn't. It's spelt wrong.
Jeff, you silly boy.
Anyway, last night, The Righteous made their TNA debut / kind of return.
Yeah, because Vincent's been there before.
He's been there before, but The Righteous themselves, Vincent and Dutch, have made their official TNA debut. They debuted after the Hardys versus High Rise for the TNA World Tag Team Championships. Obviously, the Hardys retaining there. They made it very clear that they're going to be a big force to be reckoned with in TNA.
But we have to address the elephant in the room with this debut. Great video package, great presentation. Not a lot of noise from that crowd. In fact, a chant, except for a chant of "Who are you?" So that's tough. That's a bad.
It's a bad start. It is a bad start in that way. It's a case of maybe just the audience hasn't been clued in. I think they needed teasers, like something to get them to the point of, hey, look, something mysterious is happening. We've got this in the background. Like something mysterious is happening. These creepy guys are going to be turning up.
Creepy guys.
They're all dressed in white cult type stuff. I think they'll very quickly get over with the crowd, though. It is unfortunate, though.
Yeah, but this comes at a time where, like, even though that particular crowd weren't clued into who they are, believe me, WWE are, because there were reports recently that WWE were eyeing them up once again. It looked like they were going to be brought in a few years back. Yeah, and they'd had a tryout on SmackDown. They really liked their look, but then Vince came back in. There was a big hiring freeze. And they just kind of got sort of left outside on that particular occasion. They went back onto the indies. They recently said that they've stopped all their indie bookings, and it looks as if this might be. I think this might be their through road to WWE.
It feels kind of like the gateway. Signings like this feel very much like WWE's now got this hierarchy that we know about, even though it's not an official. Like, they're not the same company. It's a partnership. You go through TNA. Oh, we really like your stuff. You can work on that platform, especially. If they're going on AMC, they're on a bigger platform. We like your stuff, we'll bring you up. Oh, you can come to NXT now. Oh, you're on NXT. Right, we're going to adjacently move you to Evolve for a little bit. Now you're back on NXT and you're up on the main roster. It feels like that's definitely the route to go. And maybe we'll see that with The Righteous, considering WWE does really like their stuff.
From one WWE affiliate promotion with a show with the word final in their name to an AEW affiliate promotion with a show with the word final in their name. It was Ring of Honor Final Battle last night.
A lot of finals. A lot of finals. I didn't even put that together. There was 2 shows with final on last night.
I did about 19 seconds ago. Oh yeah, that's the thing.
Wrestling's very original. There's a lot of finals. It's the end of the year. What do we call it? Final.
A lot of finals.
Final.
But on the final, first.
A first, indeed a first. Deonna Purrazzo is the first ever Ring of Honor Women's Pure Champion. She defeated Billie Starkz by submission. This is something I'm really pleased to see. As much as I think Billie Starkz might have been a better choice, controversially, to be the... Is that controversial?
I think this was... I personally think this is Purrazzo's tournament to lose. I think this was her time.
Her time, yeah. Either way, Deonna Purrazzo or Billie Starkz both would have been a great choice. Purrazzo winning this here, though. She was greeted by Queen Aminata on the ramp, who kind of have signaled that she's coming for that belt when she's cleared. Because I think she was maybe the favourite originally. There
were a lot of people that said Aminata and Purrazzo would probably be the two most likely to win it, but then when Aminata got injured, we saw Purrazzo move on through the tournament, and I think Deonna Purrazzo is an amazing pick for this. She's a great technical wrestler, and those two had a real great show out in that final as well. I really enjoyed that match. And we had this lovely moment in the wrestling world,
yes,
where it was almost like a Romeo and Juliet story, where you had Deonna Purrazzo as the Ring of Honor Women's TV champion. Sorry, Ring of Honor Women's Pure Champion. Apologies, Pure Champion. And her husband, Steve Macklin, as TNA International Champion. They had 2 belts, two different companies, two houses, both alike in dignity, for about 100 minutes.
100 minutes?
I think it's about 100 minutes. I think that might have been less.
It's quite cool, though. That's quite a cool thing to have. You've got the same night, you're both champions. One losing, one winning. Like, it might be awkward at home when one's, oh, no.
Well, it's handy because...
Hope you feel better.
It just means you replace one belt on the mantelpiece with the other.
Yeah, that's really
That's fine.
Also, though, last night at Final Battle, we've got new tag team champions. Sammy Guevara and the Beast Mortis are the new Ring of Honor tag team champions. Buzzing for them. I think Beast Mortis particularly. I think he's far too good to be stuck on Ring of Honor at the moment, personally. I feel that.
I think so.
But good to see him being a champion, and hopefully that means that him and Sammy will then move up the ranks and we'll get some great matches. I want to see them versus Jet Speed.
Oh, that'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Just give us
a nice little thing to do. But it ends a lot of uncertainty with the Ring of Honor tag titles because it was Sammy and Roosh that held them recently. Roosh got injured, which threw the whole Final Battle card into disarray.
Yeah. Because
you meant to see Roosh and Bandido for the world title. That ends up becoming a survival of the fittest match with 6 in there having a great time. Really solid match, actually, in the main event of Final Battle. And it meant that the belts were vacated, the tag belts were vacated, and Sammy and Mortal. There's a bit of wild inconsistency with what happens with vacant titles and injuries with belts, which sometimes you're allowed just to sit on the fence and hold. And this is more in AEW than in WWE on this occasion. If you're a champion and you get injured, sometimes you're allowed just to sit on the fence and hold the belt and wait to get better. Sometimes an interim champion is immediately crowned. Or sometimes you go, we have to strip you of the belts, and you have, like in the tag team division, would it not have been a bit cleaner to have had Sammy go, all right, Roosh is injured, let's give the belt to another member of LFI?
You could have done that. I guess the logic for all of it to try and see where it goes is just wrestling's silly.
Yes, it is.
And it changes the rules constantly. And I think it needs to work best whichever story it works with. It would have worked best to do that for this story, but at the same time, we've had some fun matches to crown new ones.
That's very true. It's nice to see Tommy Billington getting a showing as well.
It maybe to establish the Beast Mortis more and being like, hey, look, rather than him just being handed it, he's earned that.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
I actually really like the interim route. I think I personally do enjoy it, even if it's had some downfalls in the past. I think it makes it feel more sporting because that's what they do in the UFC and the boxing and the real fighting and all that.
Well, the interim route is what we've had recently with Mercedes Mone. She was the interim Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion when she beat Mina Shirakawa. Yep. When Red Velvet returned, we saw Mercedes Mone beat her to become undisputed Ring of Honor Women's TV Champion. But last night, all change again, Fraser Porter.
Mercedes has lost a championship belt.
Here we go.
This is insane news. This is I didn't foresee this when I went to bed last night. Well, actually I did because I stayed up and watched everything, of course. I didn't foresee this happening. I thought that Mercedes would continue her reign with lots of championships, but she has lost it to Red Velvet. She's lost the Ring of Honor Women's TV Championship. Quite a shock.
The downfall begins.
Is this the downfall? Is this?
I
started with Statlander at Full Gear, and now it's trickling down.
And you know where it goes next? Because next weekend in Cardiff, it's Mercedes Mone putting the Rev Pro Undisputed Women's Championship on the line against Rio.
Oh, it is, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
In my veins!
This could be the downfall of Mercedes throughout the entire wrestling world. It's all going to crumble and fall. I hope though then she now just wins 3 more to counter it though. She goes, I lost one.
Them up.
Right, it's like getting your phone topped up back in the day. You've got to top up the minutes.
I wonder if she, I mean, that would be hilarious. Just keep winning different. Oh, look, I'm the Guatemala Women's Champion. Oh, look, I'm the Swindon Women's Champion now. But then I think maybe all the belts gone over the next 13 months, and then maybe at World's End next year, maybe Mercedes Mone wins the AEW Women's World Title.
She needs to lose all the baggage that she's carrying around because she's got lots of luggage.
Yeah.
To win the big one.
There you go.
That's what it is.
That's where we're going to go. That's where we're going to go. Over to WWE SmackDown last night. 2 really key, crucial bits of information going into next week's Saturday night's main event. First, a confrontation with Cody Rhodes and the opening match. The opening match of tonight's NXT Deadline.
Yeah, because there's more wrestling on. Cody Rhodes spoke with Ricky Sainz and Oba Femi. Now, he sort of announced that whoever wins at NXT Deadline will then go on to face Cody Rhodes next week at John Cena's last match, Saturday night's main event. So we're going to get the NXT champion versus the WWE champion in a cool champion versus champion match. It makes it quite unpredictable for me because I thought Oba was going to win tonight. I thought Oba was going to win it. You have him another title reign on NXT, and then Ricky gets called up to the main roster because he feels a bit not more ready, but he's not a young whippersnapper that Obafemi is. Okay, I thought he was coming up next week. I feel it might be Ricky Saints versus Cody because they're best mates.
There's a story they can pull upon there,
and they can be like, "Who's the most elite talent?"
Yeah, do all those little jokes.
Yeah, I feel like that could be the way because if Oba versus Cody, Oba's got to win. Oba has to win. Surely you don't want to kill the momentum of your next big monster to lose to the champion.
Yeah,
surely
there is unless Oba beats Ricky Saints,
maybe
becomes champ,
maybe,
and then Oba beats Cody.
Maybe do it.
If WWE weren't cowards,
just do it.
They have Oba
beat John Cena.
Cody Rhodes into a fine powder,
and then beat John Cena,
and then
comes out and goes, "John, after your final match, I want to face you, and it's now us in your final match." And then he lies down from Mark Henry. That was a stupid pitch for Joe Hendry. I don't know what you're on about.
I remember that was a thing. But speaking of John Cena, of course, it's been months and months in the speculation. There has been one name front and center of the entire conversation as to who John Cena's final match will be. We have seen a tournament play out that has seen WWE stars making returns. We've seen buys. We haven't seen any buys. We've seen injuries. We've seen accidents, incidents and allegations. We've seen all of that. And now we officially know who is facing John Cena in his final match.
Ooh, it's Gunther. It's of course it's Gunther.
Always going to be.
It was always going to be him. He's on a run at the moment where he's just retiring legend. We've seen it with Goldberg, right? We've seen it with Goldberg. We're going to see it with John Cena. I feel he's going to win. And it makes sense. I was talking about it yesterday where it was expected that he was going to do it, but people don't really love it. That was according to WrestleVotes. People backstage within WWE don't love it, but they understand it. That having Gunther beat John Cena makes him an established heel or even babyface for the next 5 years, the next 10 years. Even if looking at the age of the WWE roster, he could be there for the next 15 years in a prominent spot. And having him beat John Cena effectively makes him the top guy. Realistically, if he beats John Cena and retires him, that's Gunther established. He doesn't need a title belt.
No, he doesn't need it. And the talking point at the very end of SmackDown was so much in how he was going to do it, because Gunther stared down the barrel of the camera and said, "I'm going to do what no one else has made you do. I'm going to make you give up because you will submit on Saturday night's main event."
I think this is going to go down with Cena passing out, so that he can go out and be like, he didn't tap out. He never gave up. He fought right till the end, but Gunther was just too much and he couldn't. And then you can have a story coming out of it where Gunther, yes, he's got the victory over him, but he can be a bit annoyed that he never quite made the GOAT tap out.
Oh, that's interesting. It does give you the potential to. No, you won't have another John Cena match. You just won't.
Well, depends how much WrestleMania 43 pays.
That's very true. I feel like based on what I've heard from John Cena and around John Cena, in terms of how he wants to present himself in these final few months, it's about putting people over. I can see John Cena tapping out.
You can see him tapping out?
Yeah, I can see John Cena put in a submission hold for a good long while and eventually just going, sod it.
But what we know is John Cena has no influence over this storyline.
Oh, that is true. This.
He's gone, I'm just the company guy. I'm doing what I'm told by Mr. Triple Paul. And Triple Paul has told me to go out and face all these people. And I feel like he might just go, "Yeah, John, you're gonna pass out." Or something like that.
Come out and
then Triple H comes out, shakes his hand, just tells him to suck it, and then goes off the air, blowing the water up.
Now that's stupid because Triple H doesn't want to be in the photograph.
Doesn't want to be in the photograph.
Does not want to be in the photograph.
Yeah.
That is next week. A big week, big milestone week in wrestling next weekend. Yeah. It's whether you loved him, whether you hated him, there's nobody quite like him. Yeah. Like John Cena's wrestling career or WWE career, he's been very keen to say that he will not wrestle in a WWE ring again.
Interesting.
I'm not suggesting he's going to AEW.
Do you think he's going to do like the Hulk Hogan Real American Australia tour that he did, like, and then we're going to get John Cena versus Ric Flair, or we're going to get John Cena's last match for like an NWA show? That would,
Depends if the money for Fred the Movie 3 comes in, because he might not need to.
He might not need it.
So we've got loads of content coming up on the channel next week as we get set for John Cena's last match at Saturday night's main event. Meanwhile, on the channel right now, there's Fraser Porter discussing some horrendous booking from the world of wrestling.
Check out the recent episode of Worst Storylines Ever. We dove into the story of Triple H, Kane, and Katie Vick. That's a big shout out to Mr. Jack Atkins and Luke Osborne on the writing and the editing for that one. Go and check it out. It's on the channel right now.
And for the very latest wrestling news at any time, you can check out Cultaholic.com. Stay safe. Love you. Bye.